What if a Shia is doing shirk and he's hiding that, and then now I'm supposed to go and pray behind him? He's not telling me.
The Shia madhab, there's no shirk.
But how do you know? They're hiding it. They're doing taqiyya.
We as Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah don't appreciate that they would lie about some of their beliefs.
If their scholars can also lie, they might, in their books, change some things up.
They were born in an era of persecution.
Today they have their own state. There is no more persecution. But Sheikh, when you say Shias, who are you really referring to? Because there are many sects. There are some very deviant sects.
If I was living during the times of the first 11 imams, I'd be on their side.
Are you saying you'd be a Shia? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are back today on the Islamically Correct show, where we don't care to be politically correct because we're aiming to be Islamically correct. So we all know that lying is impermissible in Islam. So why does Taqiyya exist? Some will say that it's protection, while others say that it's deception. Today, we're going to get down to the bottom of it. We're going to find out, do Sunnis practice Taqiyya as well? We're going to go into the history of the Shia persecution. Was Taqiyya used in the past to hide beliefs like Shirk and cursing the Sahaba? And finally, can we really unite when we don't know what to believe? Are we being lied to, or are we being told the truth? So today, inshallah, we're going to dive in with Sheikh Usta. Before we start, I just want to remind you guys, Muslim Blueprint program is available. The cohort will be starting soon. Make sure you guys sign up below. This will give you access to not only podcast material, but really diving deep into knowledge and going straight to the source, the books, and speaking to Sheikh directly. So if you want to learn your deen properly, make sure you sign up. The link is in the description. We'll see you there. All right, so Sheikh, this whole time we've been talking about Shias and Sunnis in the past few episodes, and a lot of people are feeling like you're too much on their side. So a lot of people in the comments are saying that the Shias are like lying to us and they practice Taqiyya even when they're telling us that they're, on our side, or they don't curse and they don't do certain things. They're still doing it behind closed doors.
Sure.
So what is this Taqiyya that because now we can't really believe anything. So
well, first of all, look, I'm not siding with anybody. I'm trying to side with the truth to the best of my ability. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, Taqiyya as a concept, yes, it is in the deen of Islam, but not as people, especially not Islamophobes, how they describe it. Taqiyya is really the idea that if somebody is, let's say, somebody's life is in danger, right, because of that person's belief, any law, any philosophy, any moral system would, allow that person to basically save his life. Let me give you an example. If somebody comes in and you're walking downtown, puts a gun in your head, like, either tell me where your money, or I'm going to kill you. Right? Can you tell him basically, can you lie and say that your money is like over there when it's not? Actually, some systems might penalize you if other people might get hurt because that's negligence, right? So Islam says if a person is under duress is a specific word in the legal system where your life is endangered, or like physical mutilation of your body, or, will be at risk, to basically hide certain things.
So I'm going to push back on this a little bit. Bilal radiallahu anhu was put under pressure. He never caved.
Exactly.
So we don't have that on the.
No, look, the Sunnis, we don't have this concept of taqiyya as in the Shia way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's only within a specific narrow permission, and it's even basically discouraged. So Bilal bin Rabah radiallahu anhu, may Allah bless him and raise his status. He's one of our masters from an Islamic perspective. Yeah, he didn't use that. He's like, look, you want to kill me? Kill me. This is what I believe in. That's the hero that Islam wants to build. From an Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah perspective, this is what we believe. We believe it's permissible, but what's better is to die on your belief. It's fine. You want to kill me? Kill me. Crucify me? Crucify me. Just like the disciples of Jesus Christ. Rasulullah, the Prophet Muhammad gave us their example to follow. And they never backed down, and they got killed for their beliefs, and they never basically tried to make it wishy-washy. I'll tell you why, because these were the disciples of Jesus Christ. If they wiggled, the whole message would basically be misunderstood.
They had to be solid, yeah.
And that's why in Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the scholars are not permitted to use this exception. Okay. So this exception is only for the regular people.
Wait. Taqiyya only applies to the regular people.
Again, from a Sunni perspective.
Oh, that's interesting. So why can't the scholars do it?
Because if they do, then how Islam would be misunderstood.
So that's the Sunni part of things. So what about the Shias?
So look, the Shia is a little bit more broader. And it did, this whole concept became a little bit more broader because of the persecution that happened to the Ahlul Bayt and their followers, and the Shia madhab when it became more mature in the 4th century Hijri afterwards. So, I'm not saying this is okay. I'm just telling you why it historically happened. there was persecution. You have to understand the followers of Ahlul Bayt and the scholars of Ahlul Bayt were persecuted by the Umayyads from day one, sadly, right? And then after the Umayyads by the Abbasiyin, even though they were like allies, the Abbasiyin, after they got power and authority, they also sadly have, you can say, mistreated the Alawiyin, the followers of Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anhu.
Just to be clear, that's not the Alawiyin of today. That's
Definitely.
Yeah. So there's a history of persecution, you're saying, of the Shias.
That's correct. Yeah.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah, and again, do we as Sunnis see that as justifying factor? No. So the Shia, do they lie about their beliefs? Again, they might a little bit, but at the end of the day, everything's documented. Like, it's hard to basically hide your beliefs. Everything's in the books, so we know what they believe. But don't forget, there's exaggeration from the Sunni side too of what these beliefs are. So both are there. So some of the Shia, they try to hide some stuff, and some of the Sunnis, they try to overinflate stuff. We want the truth.
Yeah, because if the scholars are lying, if they're scholars, you're saying our scholars cannot, but if their scholars can also lie to save themselves from persecution, right? They might, in their books, change some things up. So,
but then they'll confuse their followers, right?
Well, what about behind closed doors? Can't there be behind closed doors kind of another type of understanding?
Look, there might be, but how are they going to pass it from one generation? It's been like 1,000 years, don't forget. So if things don't get documented after so long, things will be very mixed up. And at the end of the day, they have to document something. Look, their books are there.
Yeah.
Their books are there. The early books of the 4th century Hijri are a little bit different from example from the 8th century Hijri. They're way more offensive. They're more extreme in their hate to the Sahaba radiallahu anhu and so forth. But if you take the original 4th century Imams, it was way more mellow. I'm not saying there isn't, but there's no opposition to the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. There were. By the 4th century, that was already shaped that the Sahaba radiallahu anhu were unjust to Ali and to Ahlul Bayt. This became the aqeedah of the Shia. Like, what makes a Shia? And this is, again, 4th century onwards, right? Or 3rd century onwards. The Ahlul Bayt were persecuted, and the Sahaba, even from the time of the Sahaba, they was unjustly treated. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, we already discussed this. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu took the land away from Fatima. Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman took the Khilafah from Ali, and so forth. Like, this became the idea behind the Shia sect anyway, or the Shia madhab.
So that's the tashayya, that's the support. The Shia, to be a Shia means to be a supporter. So that's what makes them supporter of Ali, because he got oppressed, right?
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, the main idea is that Ahlul Bayt have special status, and we believe that too. Don't forget. I'll tell you something, basically. If I was basically living during the times of the first 11 Imams, from Ali bin Abi Talib to Al-Hasan al-Askari, I'd be on their side.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. There's no thinking, no nothing. This is 100%, hands down.
Are you saying you'd be a Shia?
Well, don't forget, Imam Al-Hasan al-Askari, which is the 11th Imam, died in middle or a little after the middle of the 3rd century. We're saying current day Shiism basically has fully developed in the 4th century Hijri. You see what I'm saying? So at the time of the early Ahlul Bayt, like for example, Ja'far al-Sadiq, Muhammad al-Baqir, these great Imams, these are the teachers of Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, the teachers of the 4 madhahib. These are the greatest men to walk earth after the Rasul. So yeah, definitely be on their side, 100%, hands down. This should be a yes to every Muslim. This is what we believe in Ahl Sunnah.
Oh, I'm pretty sure this is going to catch a lot of viewers off guard.
But hold on, but why? Because we're ignorant of our history. You need to understand Thawrat al-Qurra. There's something called the Revolution of the Scholars. It started around 80 something Hijri. 80 Hijri, but before the Sahaba died, right? All the scholars of the Tabi'een were supportive of Ahlul Bayt. They were supportive of Al-Hussein and his children and his grandchildren. But this is what it is. The scholars were pro Ahlul Bayt. Period. Because today we have this Shia Sunni divide, we don't understand that at one point in time, the real deal of haqq, where Ahlul Bayt, may Allah bless them, alayhim as-salam, they're our teachers, we'll kiss their feet, period.
But where are you getting all this information from? Because couldn't they have lied at the time as well? Like some of them, because obviously our historical records, people wrote it down. So couldn't they have lied?
No.
What do you mean?
No, definitely not. I mean, we speak, first of all, we speak about the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. Ali, alayhi salam, Al-Hussein wal-Hasan radiallahu anhuma. right? These are Sahaba, all are Sahaba. We as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah believe that all the Sahaba cannot be liars. Not on the deen at least. They might lie here or there on like $5 versus $6. Astaghfirullah. Not the greatest of them, by the way.
Yeah.
Like lying.
Like they're not perfect. They might make mistakes or.
They might make mistakes, but again, on the deen, no. Like they're not going to go make up things. And their children, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said in the Quran, وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ مِنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوهُم بِإِحْسَانٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ. Meaning basically, in translation, the early believers, the special believers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's chosen ones, yeah, to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam are the muhajirin and the ansar, and those who followed them in that excellent way.
Mm-hmm.
Allah is pleased with them. But who are they? The ummah has a consensus, is the tabi'een. Right? The tabi'een, or at least if not consensus, like majority of scholars say it's the tabi'een. Who's the best tabi'een? We already said that the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam praised his family because they were the ones who gave us a hadith that we never learned from anybody else. The private life,
right?
A hadith. So who's Ja'far al-Sadiq? Who's Muhammad al-Baqir? Who are these amazing people?
So these are scholars from the first 80 years?
Yeah. First, as I said, basically the 11th Imam, which is Al-Hasan al-Askari, died in around 260 Hijri. Died.
Okay.
So let's say he was born maybe, let's say 190, whatever the number is.
Okay.
Right? So that's the 11th Imam. So yes, they were living in the 1st century Hijri, 2nd century Hijri, and you can say first half of the 3rd century. So that's really it. These are the Imams we're speaking about. And those Imams were the greatest scholars of the Ummah. Some of the greatest scholars of the Ummah. Especially the earlier you go, the more knowledge they had. Ali bin Abi Talib, we already said that he is the most knowledgeable of all the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, period.
So then what does that say about the Shias and after the 3rd and 4th century?
Okay, this is basically when things started changing a little bit. So now, when we're speaking about basically the Taqiyya, from an Ithna Ashari madhab perspective, which was, the madhab that as we see it today, is the produce of the 4th and the 5th century. We have to understand that. So yeah, we as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah don't appreciate that they would lie about some of their beliefs. But to be honest, man, let me tell you something. The Sunnah are the majority. They were born in an era of persecution, so that became something within their ideological background. We don't agree with it. They might lie, but I can tell you basically, sure, they can lie here and there, but as I already said, that things are in the books at the end of the day.
So here's the problem, because today there is no more persecution. The people will say that. They'll say back then, okay, we understand in history they were the minority and all of that. Today they have their own state, so on and so forth. Now today there's no persecution, and if they are lying,
we're not going to be able to change their belief. Like, look, the Taqiyya concept is the Shia concept that's there. It's been there for over 1,000 years. We're not going to be able to change it. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't be naive to basically be fooled, but that's why we go back to the sources, understand what really their beliefs are, and that's it. Really, that's really it. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is important.
But my problem is that you said on the last episode we can pray behind the Shia.
But what does it have to do with it, basically?
Here's the issue.
Any Muslim, the four madhahib, maybe I didn't say that, but the four madhahib, all the four madhahib, they okay the praying behind the Shia. I don't understand why. Lots of comments basically it comes out of ignorance. They think that no, all the four madhahib of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah allow the praying behind the Shia, period.
So I'm going to try to represent.
I'm shocked that basically people are asking these questions or some of the comments. But again, that's why we're having this conversation so we can answer some of these questions.
So that is surprising that the Imams allowed this, but coming from
all four madhabs.
All four madhabs. So, maybe I'll try to represent the viewers a little bit more. It's just that it's a slippery slope, right? You're saying that they practice taqiyya, but look, they're the minority, they were persecuted, but there's no persecution
today. Not justifying though, don't forget. I'm telling you why are they like that? And we shouldn't be naive. We should go to the sources, understand what they really believe, and that's really it.
So here's my problem.
We will never be okay with taqiyya being okay. It's not. It's haram. If today basically you speak to any Shia, okay, and he lies about his beliefs, he or she is a sinner. That's what we believe, and that's the right stance. They're sinful in lying, period. I don't care about the justification. They can justify whatever they want to justify. If they lie and their life is not in danger, they are sinful and they will be accountable on the day of judgment, period.
So I was speaking to a brother who tells me that, there's this line that people come in and they'll speak to like Shias and, what had happened was the person was saying, we cannot curse Aisha, right? But then he said, do you disassociate yourself fully, publicly right now from those people who curse Aisha? And the person denied that. They wouldn't do it. So isn't that a problem? That's like, it shows like he was exposed.
No. It depends what dissociation means, really. When somebody curses Aisha, we're not speaking about basically...
That's a big thing.
It is a big thing. It is a big thing. Who's saying it's not a big thing? as long as the person is not, accusing her of being unchaste, right? That's where basically a person becomes a kafir. If somebody curses Aisha alayhi salam, it's a major sin, but does he become a kafir? No. Dissociation is only for disbelievers, for the mushrikeen and the kuffar, right? Not for a Muslim. You see basically how people sometimes jump the gun. They don't understand the difference between basically kufr and iman, al-wala and the bara and so forth. Al-bara min al-shirk, not from Islam.
I see how you're breaking this down. So cursing is a major sin, but specifically accusing Aisha
it's
of
kufr.
that. Yeah, got it.
Anybody who basically messes with Aisha alayhi salam in her chastity, kafir, period.
Okay, so I see. So maybe that person was disassociating with, or didn't want to disassociate because it was just a major sin, or it's still Muslim. Okay, that's very interesting. But what if a Shia is doing shirk and he's hiding that? And then now I'm supposed to go and pray behind him. He's not telling me.
But there's no such thing as Shia doing shirk. We already said that the Shia are Muslimin.
Yeah, but what if he
they
believes?
They are not mushrikeen. No, but then that becomes, it's not a question about the Shia then. It becomes a question about mushrikeen. Right? If somebody left Shiism, meaning left Islam, with a Shia background, with a Shia, let's say, color, right? Because Islam, you're Muslim Shia, you're Muslim Sunni Shia, they're both Muslim. Whether a person leaves Sunnism or Shiism, right?
Islam as a whole, yeah.
Islam, and it doesn't matter which madhab it is, and becomes a mushrik, then it's definitely haram to pray behind him. So it's a contradiction. You're asking me about halal pork. There's no such thing.
But how do you know? They're hiding it. They're doing taqiyya.
Habibi, we already told you that the Shia, with whatever they hide, they're still Muslim.
I think the real concern, Sheikh, is if you decide to pray behind someone and he's concealing, hiding his beliefs about whether it's shirky beliefs or very deviant views or the divinity of their imams. I've heard some very problematic views. And I'm sure you have something to say about that because there's there's okay views that keep you within Islam.
Yeah, so listen, maybe we can deal with those views and details in a different episode. But for now, to answer this question directly, we said already from last episode that the Shia, and looking into their books, understanding what they believe in. Don't forget, there's many people from the Shia madhab, scholars and non-scholars, they convert to Sunnism. It's not like there's one or two. There's thousands and thousands and thousands. So we know what they believe. We know what they speak behind closed doors. We have told you, and we're going to reaffirm it today again, is that the Shia madhab, with all its faults, is they're still Muslim, period. Okay, there's no shirk within the madhab. There might be shirk for individuals, people who leave the madhab, leave Islam. Those who leave the fold of Islam and say shirky stuff, like, for example, accusing Aisha of her chastity, for example, any Shia claimant, not a Shia, he's not a Muslim, he's a kafir. I already said that. So that's why, it becomes a case by case. It's not an issue of Shiism. It's an issue of case by case.
But Sheikh, when you say Shias, who are you really referring to? Because there are many sects. There are some very deviant sects, and there's
so listen, brother, let me tell you something. The sects from Shiism that went into shirk, that left the fold of Islam, for example, Ismailis. But we also have, from the Sunni side of the story, there's a sect that basically left Islam also.
Who are they?
Like the Ahmadis, for example. You see what I'm saying? So we don't consider these Sunnis and Shia anymore. You understand? Historically, they came out of the womb of this madhab and that madhab. But they left the fold of Islam. They're not Muslim anymore.
And the main madhab for Shias are 12ers?
The 12ers and the Zaydis are the two main ones, yes.
Got it.
And we rule on the madhab based upon its teachings within its books. So if there's other madhab that are Shia, and there is, we rule based upon what they say.
Look, Sheikh, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how the viewers feel, but I feel a sense of relief. Like this gives me some clarification and less skepticism. But I do have more questions, and I'm sure the viewers have more questions. And we're going to dive into them, inshallah, more about whatever questions you guys have. Make sure you guys drop them in the comments. We will definitely dive more into this. Maybe to finish this off, Sheikh, one last question is, we're all about unity, but the Shias, what if that, because of Taqiyya, they pretend that they want unity, but secretly they don't want?
Look, if this is the case, this is the case. We're going to continue to preach to them that unity is the right thing to do. And we're only going to basically, judge people based upon their behavior. We're not going to go into their hearts. So I don't care what they really believe in the inside. And to be honest, some of them might not. Some of them actually, might preach unity and they don't really want it. And sadly, we've seen it in Iraq. We've seen it with the Iranian regime. We haven't seen real projects of unity. We've seen more sectarianism. May Allah guide everybody. It's not like the Sunnis were perfect angels.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we will. Our position will never change. We want unity between all Muslimin, including the Sunni and the Shia. We want love between the Sunnis and the Shia. We want the unity between the whole ummah. Period. This will never change.
Allah bless you, Sheikh. This was good. Alhamdulillah. One more time, guys, Muslim Blueprint. If you do want to learn from scholars and you want to really up your knowledge and be able to have these conversations with your friends and families, make sure you guys sign up. The link will be in the description. We'll see you in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.